1 year is all it took for the Texas Longhorns to waltz their way into the SEC championship. They went to Aggieland and took down the Aggies, the 12th man, and their yell leaders like it was a Friday scrimmage. Now Texas has the golden opportunity to settle some business with the Dogs. The same Bulldogs that clipped them earlier this season when the Horns were sitting pretty as numero uno. Georgia's sitting at number 7 in the college football playoff projections, and Texas is a few spots up at number 2. A win for either team, and they earn themselves a bye week. But before I tell you who's going to come out on top, hit that subscribe button over there to stay ahead of the SEC. Now let's go. Let's rewind to the first Longhorns Dogs smackdown where Texas's offense imploded. 4 turnovers, 7 sacks, and a pitiful 15 points? That wasn't a football game. That was a clown show with Bevo watching in shame. The Dogs had Texas looking like a junior varsity squad trying to pass block against an NFL defensive line. Embarrassing doesn't even begin to cover it. Fast forward to now, and the Longhorns are still flirting with the turnover bug like it's their high school crush. They had 2 giveaways in the red zone against Texas A&M last week. Sure, they pulled out a 10-point win, but it should have been a blowout. At least Sark's finally wising up, building some offensive guardrails to keep the wheels from flying off. Sophomore sensation Quintrevian Wisner has been absolutely eating in the run game lately. Dude's averaging 5.8 yards per carry and racked up 344 yards over the last 2 games. That's old school smash mouth football right there. The kind of grinded out style that keeps your QB's jersey clean and the Dogs' pass rush frustrated. Plus, controlling the clock with Wisner gives that Texas defense, arguably the best in the country, the breathing room to do its thing. Speaking of that Texas defense, they're giving up less than 4 yards per play, number 1 in the country. Add in a 5th best 26 forced turnovers and an 11.7 points per game average, and you've got a unit built to ruin Carson Beck's Saturday. Georgia's offense is stacked, probably the most loaded group Texas has faced all year. But don't forget, when these 2 teams clashed in October, the Dogs' offense got neutered, Texas style. Carson Beck couldn't do nothing. Georgia managed a measly 4.0 yards per play, coughed up 3 turnovers, and needed prime field position just to hit 30 points. 4 of those scoring drives started in Texas territory, which is basically like spotting your little brother a 20-yard head start in a backyard race. But here's the ace up Texas's sleeve, Arch Manning. I'm calling it right now. Sark's gonna run a 2-quarterback system against Georgia. We saw flashes of it against Texas A&M, and I think we're gonna see it on full display this weekend. The Golden Boy will see the field against the Dogs. Now, why would Sark roll the dice on baby Manning? Did y'all see that touchdown run last weekend in College Station? Dude was out there looking like Lamar Jackson in his first play. If Sark really wants to throw Georgia off their game, he'll unleash Manning's wheels and let the kid run wild. Forget that vanilla pro-style offense. We're all about that dual threat chaos, baby. Georgia just got burned by Haynes King last week, who ran for 110 yards and 3 touchdowns. If Manning even sniffs that kind of success, they're in for a rough night. You don't beat the Dogs by playing it safe. You do it by flipping the script and dropping a 5-star Manning bombshell on them. But what does the Football Power Index say? For those of you who don't know, the Football Power Index runs 20,000 simulations of a team's games and season. That's more replays than when refs overturned that pass interference call when Carson Beck threw a pick the last time they fought. The FBI factors in everything from scores and schedule strength to recruiting classes and how good the team's mascot probably looks on a t-shirt. And, what a shocker, the nerdy little computer model is riding with the Longhorns. Big old Bevo's got the edge over UGA in 61.5% of the sims. They're saying Texas has a solid chance of not choking this time. The Longhorns are technically the favorites, but if you're a Dogs fan, keep the faith, brother. Stranger things have happened in college football. Let me break it down for the degenerate gamblers in the back. According to Big Brain Computer 3000, Texas has got a hair more firepower than Georgia, with a 4.2 point edge on the same turf. Translation: the Longhorns are expected to handle business and cover that sweet little 2.5 point spread. That's right, folks, Texas is officially a field goal's worth of confidence better than the Dogs, per the updated FanDuel odds. As for the money line, Texas at -144 feels like a safe-ish bet. Georgia at +120, that's where you put your money if you're like my Uncle Bubba, who swears by the Dogs every season, and 64% of the public is slamming Texas to win and cover. As for me, I'm going with the Longhorns. If your money is on Georgia, why don't you admit it in the comments so I can make fun of you? See you there.